Welcome to the world on Wednesday, the 24th of June. I'm Sean Bindley from Australian Independent Radio News. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has arrived in the Pakistani capital Islamabad for a state visit, his first trip abroad since the United States and Israel launched strikes on Iran in February. The visit comes days after the signing of the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding between Washington and Tehran, which Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif co-signed as mediator. Analysts say the trip is a signal of gratitude for Pakistan's role in brokering the deal. Hira Mustafa in Islamabad says the Iranian president's talks with Pakistani leaders are expected to focus on the next phase of nuclear negotiations, as well as bilateral economic ties.
He will be having one-on-one talk with the Pakistani civilian leadership that includes Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar, as well as Pakistan's President Asif Ali Zardari. And according to the experts, the talks are going to be focused on the technical level talks that are going to take place or continue in the coming days with regards to Iran's nuclear program. Apart from this, both the leadership of both the countries are going to have discussions on strengthening the bilateral cooperation between the two countries in economy, trade and regional connectivity.
US President Donald Trump says Iran has agreed to the highest level of nuclear inspections, but Tehran has made no such commitment, with Washington and Iranian state media issuing directly contradictory accounts of what was agreed at talks in Switzerland on Monday. Vice President J.D. Vance said after the negotiations that Iran would allow International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors back into the country, calling it a major milestone. But Iranian officials have not confirmed any agreement on inspections. President Trump echoed Vice President Vance's account on Truth Social, warning there would be no further negotiations without what he called nuclear honesty. Kate Fisher reports from Washington.
The US, J.D. Vance, the Vice President, making it clear that that was a milestone agreement during his talks in Switzerland with the Iranians yesterday. But the Iranians saying that no such commitments were made. And then you have Donald Trump, the president, just in the last few minutes taking to Truth Social to say that Iran has fully and completely agreed to highest level nuclear inspections and then to infinity, he says, and that this will ensure what he describes as nuclear honesty. And if they did not agree to this, there would be no further negotiations.
The US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Tuesday that Iran would not be able to charge tolls in the Strait of Hormuz as part of any final agreement with the US, saying that such an agreement would be contrary to international law.
Let me ask you about Hormuz, if possible. Can the US and allies, can they guarantee navigation, freedom of navigation in the strait?
Well, that's the law. It's an international waterway. No country is allowed to charge tolls or fees on an international waterway. That's existing international law. That's the way it is in international waterways all over the world, and that's the way we expect it'll be here. So I don't think we have anybody to convince around here in that regard. I think all the countries in this region would agree with us.
The Vice President and the President both insisted the U.S. will not pay any money into that fund. Are you going to be asking Gulf allies here to consider helping with that?
No, that's far down the road. It's a part of what's discussed that could happen. If Iran makes a decision, if its leadership makes a decision that they want to be a country instead of a revolutionary movement that exports terror, they're going to have an opportunity to do incredible things in Iran. I'm not promising you that that's the choice they're going to make. I'm saying if that's the choice that they make, then there will be opportunities, and those opportunities could include investment, as you've seen other countries in this region benefit from investment, from foreign direct investment. It won't be our investment, it won't be our government money, but I think that is something that's going to have to depend on progress made on a host of other security issues that have to be confronted in the days to come.
Iran has accused the United Arab Emirates of actively participating in military strikes against Iranian infrastructure during the recent US-Israeli operation, in a heated exchange at the BRICS Security Summit in New Delhi on Tuesday. India's National Security Advisor, Ajit Doval, opened the two-day gathering of security chiefs from all 11 BRICS nations by welcoming the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, a vital global shipping lane. Doval said a lasting resolution to the conflict would have far-reaching benefits for the developing world. Nia Harpunia has more from New Delhi.
Ajit Doval, when he threw open that discussion earlier on Tuesday, said that there is cautious optimism about that deal, and he's really hoping, along with other BRICS members, that this will stick, because that will have a huge impact on energy security for much of the global south. It'll also help clear up, supply chain issues and bottlenecks that have impacted everything from fuel supply to fertilizer supply, for member countries.
Israeli authorities and security forces deliberately targeted Palestinian children, resulting in genocide, crimes against humanity and war crimes in Gaza and war crimes in the occupied West Bank, an independent UN inquiry said on Tuesday. Olivia Lepoitovan reports from Geneva.
This independent UN inquiry report essentially concluded that Israel deliberately targeted Palestinian children, resulting in genocide, crimes against humanity and war crimes in Gaza. Now, they came to this conclusion after examining violations against Palestinian children by Israeli security forces since the start of the war between Israel and Hamas, which started in October 2023 following Hamas's assault on Israel. Now, Israel strongly denied the allegations from this report, and it's called it a libelous sham. But essentially, this 94-page report lays out how children have been disproportionately affected by the war in Gaza. It found, for example, that around a third of those killed in the enclave between October 2023 and October 2025 were reported to be children. Now, that's more than 20,000 children who are reported to have been killed during the war. It also found that Israeli forces were using heavy munitions on densely populated areas, resulting in mounting child casualties. And they said it was this scale and patterns of deaths which really indicated that children were being deliberately targeted, both during the war, but also after the ceasefire that came into effect in October 2025. Israel has repeatedly denied allegations of genocide and has said that all its military operations have been with the aim of targeting Hamas militants in Gaza. Concerning this report, they described it as a libelous sham. They said the document was defamatory. They pointed out a long series of what they described as holes and inconsistencies in the UN report. Also, in a statement, Israel said that it works consistently to try and minimize harm to children during conflict. And on top of that, Israeli officials have also argued that the report ignores Hamas's tactics during the war. This UN inquiry used a range of sources, including collecting and verifying thousands of open source evidence. That can include anything from videos, audio material, satellite imagery. And it also conducted, on top of that, in-person interviews, remote interviews with victims and witnesses, as well as interviews with healthcare workers who had been working in the enclave during and after the war and into the ceasefire. It's also worth noting that this UN inquiry is independent, and there have been previous findings that have found similar evidence to support this conclusion that they made of genocide being conducted by Israeli authorities against Palestinians in Gaza. Though, of course, once again to say Israel has vehemently denied that.
A Taliban delegation has held talks with European Commission officials in Brussels, the first such visit since the group seized power in Afghanistan 5 years ago. The trip has drawn sharp criticism from human rights groups, with Amnesty International staging a protest outside the European Commission building, displaying a banner reading "Shame." Germany remains the only European country to have accepted diplomatic appointments from the Taliban government. William Denslow has more from Brussels.
Taliban spokesperson described it as a historic meeting. They say they hope to build positive momentum when it comes to opening up more consular services across Europe. It's at this moment in time, it's only Germany that have really accepted diplomatic appointments from the Taliban since they took power again in Afghanistan some 5 years ago.
And that's the world for today.
The world is...
Hi, you're listening to ArtSound FM. I'm Tim McNamara. Welcome to this special edition of ArtSound's Driveway program. In celebration of our Radiothon, we're actually now simulcasting until 6 p.m. when we'll go back to our normal Driveway program. The audio is still coming out on 92.7 and 90.3 megahertz, as well as digital radio and streaming via our website. But if you now go to our website, you can click a link that will take you to the ArtSound YouTube channel, and you'll get video as well. This is part of our Radiothon month, where we're asking you to assist us. We want to keep covering local arts and music here in Canberra, and to do this we need money. It costs a lot of dollars to run a radio station, and we only get a small amount of money from the government through grants. The rest we need to raise ourselves. So as you go to our website to click on the link for today's simulcast video, please click on the donate button. No donation is too small, but $2 and over is tax deductible, and $50 or more you're eligible to go into our prize draw. One of today's prizes is a 2-course meal and a glass of wine voucher for 2 people, donated by Lerida Estate Wines at Lake George, to the value of $350. How do you get your name into the draw? Everyone who correctly answers the following question: how many Beatles can be seen on the record cover of the Beatles' Abbey Road album, will be eligible. How do you answer this question? Call 62957444. That's 62957444. You just need to give us the correct answer, your name, suburb, mobile, and you'll go into the draw. I'll be announcing the winner just prior to the 6 o'clock news. I should also mention what you will see and hear on our simulcast today. We'll have live performances from local folk band Coolabah Collective and Canberra-based old country folk and roots singer-songwriter John Stokes. We'll also get to know one of our ArtSound presenters just a little bit better. But first up, let's hear from 2 of our supporters.
Chief Minister Andrew Barr here. ArtSound FM has been a cornerstone of Canberra's arts community for 43 years, powered entirely by volunteers and broadcasting around the clock. It reflects everything that makes Canberra special: creativity, community and a genuine love of the arts. The ACT government is proud to support organisations like ArtSound as part of our commitment to making Canberra Australia's arts capital.
Hi, Alicia Payne here, the Federal Member for Canberra. For over 40 years, ArtSound has served the Canberra community with a diverse mix of music, arts and culture. But it can't do so without your support. Every subscription and donation makes a difference, and donations over $2 are tax deductible. Visit artsound.fm and play your part in keeping ArtSound on the air.
And on ArtSound FM, you're listening to a special edition of the Driveway program up till 6 p.m. tonight. We're simulcasting, as I said on the intro, so you can go to our website, click on the link, and not only will you hear us, but you'll get to see us as well. One of the things you'll get to see right now from our music studio is local folk band Coolabah Collective.
In 1740, the Parliament set a prize, £20,000, to save the sailors' lives. The astronomers all said, we can do this easily. God's skies will solve the longitude at sea. A young carpenter from Barrow, to London he came, to seek out his fortune and seafaring fame. John Harrison proposed a new technology, a clock to find the longitude at sea. When we know the time in London, we can find the line. With a simple calculation, the meridian we'll find. To travel the world and return home safe, just follow imaginary lines. Now the leading astronomer, the Reverend Maskelyne, studied the moon's motions to ensure that he would win. He didn't think this carpenter and his silly ticking machines could find those imaginary lines. Taking more than 40 years to claim the prize, our carpenter was focused, he would not be denied. He built 4 machines and passed the sea trials and found those imaginary lines. When When we know the time in London, we can find the line. With a simple calculation, the meridian we'll find. To travel the world and return home safe, just follow imaginary lines. Now with all of our tech, we don't give GPS a thought. But for sailors at sea, returning home to port, we can thank Harrison for devoting his life to finding those imaginary lines. When we know the time in London, we can find the line. With a simple calculation, the meridian we'll find. To travel the world and return home safe, just follow imaginary lines. When we know the time in London, we can find the line. With a simple calculation, the meridian we'll find. To travel the world and return home safe, just follow imaginary lines. Travel the world and return home safe, just follow imaginary lines. To travel the world and return home safe, just follow imaginary lines. So that song was called Imaginary Lines. It was about John Harrison building those clocks that are now currently found at the Greenwich Observatory in England.
Thank you, Rod. And yes, as you heard, we are Coolabah Collective, and it is wonderful to be here on Art Sound on the Driveway program, the Radiothon, this afternoon. We have got 3 more songs, so 4 songs altogether. And they're all originals. None of them have been released before, so I think that's quite special also for the Radiothon. The next song is one that I've written, and it's called The Long Way Round, and it was kind of inspired by, when a Kelpie rounds up sheep, he goes around in a long circle, and another dog that I know, he goes in a dead straight line, and it got me thinking about people and how they approach things differently too. Some are very patient and go the long way around, whereas others are just very direct. I think we all know people like that.
Long way round that other hound of mine, while he goes in a straight line, play chasing round, never far from home. He listens for his recall, smart, loyal to his core. Got a man wants me to understand his logic at the speed of sound. Well, he goes a long way round, doesn't like to judge, doesn't bear a grudge. He takes his time to break it down. Well, he goes a long way round.
goes in a straight line. Scout brutal Frank often draws a blank. Options are declined, yeah, but she stays on a straight line. I gather up pieces, try to make them fit to what I thought as simple as could cause a painful rift.
I channel your sparks, try to make them flow. Who knew such careful plans would turn you to a foe? Oh, it's one step in another. Oh, drag my name right through the gutter. Throw a match onto the pile. Let me walk through the fire. Ah, let me walk through the fire. You're coming at me. I know what I trained for. Let the heat rise in my cheeks. I'm burning at the core.
Throw the rest onto the pile. Give it a gentle blow.
I'll fight the fight. Let the shame catch light. Allow the pain to glow. Ah, it's one step then another. Ah, drag my name right through the gutter. Throw a match onto the pile. Let me walk through the fire.
one step, then another.
It whispers.
Drag my name right.
It whispered to me.
Throw a match on.
I tell you this.
Let me walk.
There's nothing for you. You don't care.
Let me walk.
So it's one step then another. Drag my name right through the gutter. Throw a match onto the fire. Let me walk through the fire. Let me walk through the fire. It's one step then another. Drag my name right through the gutter. Throw a match onto the fire. Let me walk through 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 the fire.
That song was called Walk Through the Fire, and it's about having a really tense time at work. So in that context, it's about putting one foot in front of the other, persevering even in the face of having your beliefs challenged to the core.
And speaking of putting one foot in front of the other, the next song I wrote about earliest childhood memories, those ones that you're not sure if they're real or if you made them up. But in my case, they were related to my favourite book that when I was 4 years old, both I loved and terrified me, and it was called Where the Wild Things Are. So this is about putting one foot in front of the other down the hallway at night time in my house, thinking about the wild things. Tapping on the window pane, words drift into frame. Wild things are in the conscious distance. Light scatters through the hall, much more than it was before. I could walk the whole way in this instant. Looking up at another wall, you can carry when I fall. Wild things remain up in the distance. Working out what the wild things know that faded years ago. I can walk the whole way in this instance. Knock, knock, it's another day. Hop, hop when you're on your way. Stop, stop and begin to play. Drop, drop, I can feel the day. Knock, knock when the time seems right. Hop, hop to escape the fight. Stop, stop till the morning light. A drop, drop, staying out of sight.
drop staying out of sight.
At another wall you can carry when I fall. Wild things remain off in the distance. Thanks very much. We're Coolabah Collective. It's a fantastic privilege for us to be on the ArtSound Radiothon simulcast, raising money for this wonderful radio station. Please give some money if you can. It helps keep us on the air. Thanks. We're going to throw back to Tim.
We could do a lot of things if we had some money.
Do you enjoy listening to ArtSound? ArtSound enjoys presenting programs, but broadcasting is expensive. Your donation towards those costs would be appreciated. Every donation of $2 or more is tax deductible. Making a donation this month means you can claim that money on this year's tax return. Small or large donations are welcome, but if you donate $50 or more, your name will go into the draw for some stupendous prizes. Listen for prize draws weekly and the big one at the end of the month. Please donate today. It's easy to do. Go to our website, ArtSound FM, look for the red heart on the top line and click donate. You decide what you want to contribute. Donations of $2 and over are tax deductible. Thank you for being a supporter of ArtSound and helping the station to survive.
We could do a lot of things if we had some money.
And you are indeed listening to the special simulcast happening on ArtSound FM as part of our Radiothon extravaganza. I'd now like to welcome to the studio one of ArtSound's volunteers, because ArtSound, there's no one paid to be here. We're all volunteers. We do it for the love of it. And the person I'm going to talk to is a Loppy.
Hello, everyone. Hello in YouTube land and also out there in radio land. It's wonderful to be here, and wonderful to be here on Tuesday or Wednesday? What is it today?
It is actually Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. I'm all over the place. But it's normally I'm here at 12 to 2 on a Friday with the Arts Cafe. And I've been doing that for probably close to 4 or 5 months now. So it's been an interesting journey.
And what attracted you and brought you to ArtSound?
Well, I was actually asked to consider coming on to do the Arts Cafe because there was a gap, and Neil Doody interviewed me for a different thing, and then suggested that I think about maybe doing the Arts Cafe because I had a lot of good networks and I'd been in the music scene in Canberra for a while. It sort of made sense to do, and I wasn't doing a lot at that time, and so I thought, it's a good opportunity to do something in the community.
And for those who haven't been listening over many, many Fridays, over 4 months, what are some of the things you've been broadcasting?
You know, it's been an interesting journey. I wanted to bring my own, approach to it, looking at bringing some more Indigenous First Nations music, some more Pacifica music into the mix, but also sharing the music that I love along with engaging with some really interesting people. And that's been part of bringing people who I knew, like Trish Delaney, and also international artists like Bobby Alu and others coming in to talk about their work and, their concerts and things coming up.
And I think I know the answer to this one, but how willing have people been, talent-wise, to come in and be on your program?
You know, it is something where I have found no problem at all. And one of the things I'm really keen on is supporting emerging artists. One of my favourite interviews was with a hip-hop crew, Bearer Bars, who came in and had a bit of a chat about what they were doing with the hip-hop night. And it was
John Stokes.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to ArtSound FM. My name's John Stokes, and I live in Canberra. And it's one of those things, you know, when you're a singer-songwriter, you write lots of songs and you wonder if they're suitable or they're any good. But just recently I wrote this song. It's called Trail of Songs, and I think it might be a legacy that I'll leave behind. Roll the ashes in my swag when I go. Do not cry, do not cry, do not cry. Rest me deep where the old stockman lay, under that beautiful southern sky. The dreams at night by the campfires will be trails of songs I'll leave behind. Hand them down, hand them down, hand them down, hand them down. They're the stories of my life. When the warmth of a breeze touches your face, may it remind you of all the times we embraced. Or if you happen to be out in our shed, where the tools of love's labor rest, there'll be memories of all the good times we had. Let them heal, let them heal, let them heal, let them heal. Time with you, the best a man could have. Leave a home candle burning at night to guide my spirit by his side. For the night watchman rides until dawn, singing softly, never leaving the morn. If you dream of us by the campfires at night, I'll sing the trails of songs with you I've left behind. By your side, by your side, by your side, by your side. They're the stories of our life. trails of songs. So I grew up on a little farm in Victoria, Australia, which is probably an hour, maybe a bit more now, northeast of the big town of Melbourne. And it was a great place to grow up. Growing up on a little farm and doing all the things, riding horses and motorbikes and driving tractors. And over the road from our little farm was an apple orchard. And I used to work there after school and on the holidays to earn some pocket money to pay for petrol for motorbikes and all those sort of things. And we had lots of fun. So this song's called The Creek. There's a little settled valley north of a big smoke, where the grass is green and the trees grow old. Houses on the flats and up where it's steep. Somewhere in the middle flows the mighty Dixon's Creek. In the warmer months she's dry, waiting for rain. Cursed to the blackfish yabbies and all who feel the strain. But when the heavens open up, transforms into a stew, a flowing, bubbling, churning mess where life begins anew. Jim's orchard back onto that creek, the place I work, picking apples in the season, driving tractors back and forth. One day while plowing a youthful mind went a dreaming, and drove Jim's tractor right into that creek's fury. Well, I quickly shut it down and I jammed on the brakes, shocked and disappointed at my silly mistake. Looking all about, hoping no one had seen. But there was only cows and me and the mighty Dixon's Creek. Well, I walked back to the sheds, my head feeling a little stressed. Glad Jim was at the market, totally unaware. Working on a plan, I drove his other tractor down, dragged the wet and muddy one out just before it drowned. Well, there's been plenty tales been told about her grace, from tragedy, hilarity, or friendships taking place. Some talk of a ghost wandering along while you sleep, but even bone dry or flown, she's our mighty Dixon's Creek. In the warmer months she's dry, waiting for rain. Cursed to the blackfish yabbies and all who feel the strain. But when the heavens open up, transforms into a stew, a flowing, bubbling, churning mess where life begins in you. A flowing, bubbling, churning mess where life begins in you. A flowing, bubbling, churning mess where life begins. Where life begins in you. Well, how good is this, ArtSound FM? Thank you very much for having me. And so, this next song is called Hole in the Pocket. And I've been a cowboy on the rodeo circuit, riding bulls and bareback horses. And this song's a little bit about what it can be like to be a cowboy on the circuit, and it's not going as well as you planned, but you keep on trying. Hole in the pocket. A rusted wire hanging on a fence. The Chevy, it ain't rolled in a while. A house could do with a lick of paint. A telegraph's down on hill. There's a hole in the pocket where the money's run out. Ended up in all the wrong places, playing for a win that looked down. Had my share of the rough stock, barely scraping by. Busted, broke, hungry and tired. 8 seconds steam ready for the high. Really lasted long enough for the paycheck prize, and the wire still hanging, and the Chevy won't drive. There's a hole in the pocket where the money's run out. There's a turn in the road that can shatter your life. A paid-for journey on a one-way ride. Short-term contracts bound to look good, but the wire's still hanging and the Chevy ain't moved. Ain't moved in a while. 'Cause there's a hole in the pocket where the money's run out. Can't stitch a hole if you ain't got thread. So you talk about it all to yourself and try to work it out again. I talk about an itch that you never can scratch. You try to turn away, but you keep going back. Back around again. A rusted wire hanging on a fence. The Chevy, it ain't rolled in a while. A house could do with a lick of paint. Telegraphs down on here to cry, and there's a hole in the pocket where the money is run out. Yeah, there's a hole in the pocket, the money's run Thank you very much. Well, I'd like to finish off with a song that I have released at the moment. It's called Crumbling Down, and this song is about, I guess, the background into rural life and how sometimes how hard it is and what we have to deal with, from droughts to flooding rains in this country, in Australia, and I'm sure it's the same all over the world. And I guess what I'm trying to depict in this song is some of the highs and lows that are associated with farming in the rural sector. But you'll listen to the lyrics and you'll get the drift anyway. Crumbling Down. glass from a window pane is laying in the churchyard, dust grown on and on where their sermon walls. The empty pews are catching flies from the spider's webs when whispers freely flows, his creaking door still bend, and I wonder will we ever hear the church bell sound. Oh, does it all come a crumbling down? A gasoline pump waiting on a small change, dollars spent on a ride that will never win. Penny wise, a pound pole strategy, didn't get far, still living off the wind. And I wonder, does the bank man hear us crying out? Oh, does the high fly pull us all down? Praying on next week's pay, banking on the next big win. It hasn't rained for 5 years now, things are looking thirsty and grim. And I wonder if it rains, will it all turn around? Oh, does a small country town lay on down? Ribs poke from a cow that's drawn out, rusty nails and old tires flat, a wife living for the life on the next train, dirt from on the ways laying in the stack. And I wonder, will we ever hear the church bell sound? Oh, does it all come a crumbling down? And I wonder, does the bank man hear us crying out? Oh, does the high fly put us all down? And I wonder, if it rains, will it all turn around? Oh, does it all come a crumbling down? And I wonder, if it rains, will it all turn around? Oh, does it all come a crumbling down? Thank you very much, ArtSound FM, for having me. I hope you've enjoyed this afternoon, and I look forward to coming back again. Bye for now.
And big thanks to John Stokes, who was there in our music studio putting on a wonderful performance as part of our Radiothon simulcast, which of course has been going out in the normal audio channels and over the ArtSound YouTube channel. Just in the couple of minutes we've got left, I've got Paul and Joanne from the normal Driveway program. Can I just ask you, Joanne, what's coming up after 6 o'clock and, well, after the news at 6?
Yeah, sure, Tim. Just also I want to say what a great performance by John Stokes, so thank you very much. So we're going to have an hour from 6 to 7 o'clock on Driveway tonight, and I've really got some very interesting new artists who have put out releases just this week, so brand new stuff, 1 or 2 tracks from last year. But I'm also introducing our Artist of the Week, who is Leonard Cohen, and that's been fabulous, just taking a dive into his music and learning a little bit more about Leonard Cohen. But how I'm going to start the show off this time is just to hear some Leonard Cohen songs, but through Australian voices. So that should be very interesting.
So do you mean covers of
yes,
Leonard Cohen songs?
Covers, yes.
Oh.
So we're going to hear from actually Henry Waggins, who does Tower of a Song, does a great version of Tower of Song, and then Casey Donovan with her beautiful rendition of Hallelujah.
Excellent. Paul, any clues on Monday? Paul does Monday's Driveway, 5 till 7.
Yeah, well, I focus a lot on the sort of local emerging musical talent, bands from Canberra who are playing gigs in Canberra, and also new and emerging independent Australian music. And so we sort of try to, each Monday, give people a sense of this music they might not have heard before. I actually have to do my research because all of the new releases that are out this week I haven't had a look at yet. So we'll have to see.
We'll await the surprise of Monday.
But I think this is one of the great things about ArtSound, in that its charter is to promote, new and emerging talent, Australian talent, local talent, arts, culture, music. And it's a sort of station, you probably don't hear this stuff on other radio stations. So I feel very, very privileged to be able to present music on ArtSound FM.
And of course, if you want to keep this going, please go to our website and donate. There is a red button that you can click, and no amount is too small. $2 and over is tax deductible, and $50 or more you can win a prize by going into the draw to win a prize. I did mention there was a prize tonight, which was a 2-course meal and a glass of wine for 2 people at Lerida Estate Wines at Lake George. The winner of that prize, we're going to notify you. You have been listening over the last hour to a simulcast, our very first ever simulcast, that is after the one we had from 12 to 1. There are, of course, people to thank for participating in both of the simulcasts. I'd like to thank Cooler Bar Collective. I'd like to thank John Stokes. I'd like to thank Chris Deacon for audio engineering. I'd like to thank Steve Little and Leon Bucher for video production, and I'd like to thank for her support Julie Finch-Scally, all contributing to this wonderful first event. As I chatted with Joanne, coming up after the news will be the normal Driveway program. Keep listening to ArtSound throughout the evening. After Driveway, you'll hear World Vibe. Then, of course, you'll hear Down in the Basement, and, of course, plenty more programs coming up on ArtSound either tonight, tomorrow, or the rest of the week. As we come towards the end, we are now about to go to the news.
I'm Alan Baskin. A third case of bird flu has been detected in Australia, this time in South Australia.